Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Egypt, the Chair of the Governing Board of the Ghana GoldBod, esteemed members of the Governing Board of the Ghana GoldBod, CEO and Chairman of Gold Coast Refinery, CEO of the only LBMA accredited refinery in Africa, Refinery, esteemed guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the media, directors and staff of the Ghana GoldBod. Good morning to you all. I didn't hear you. Good morning to you all.
Good morning.
Yes, today is a great day because in a few minutes we will be executing a groundbreaking and landmark agreement that will change the face of the management of our gold resources, particularly in relation to value addition. But before we do that, permit me to give a little background to what we have all gathered here to do this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, when His Excellency appointed me sometime in January of 2025 to head the then PMMC, now Ghana GoldBod, his instructions were very clear. And one of the key things he instructed us to do was to ensure that we move Ghana away from extraction to full value optimization through value addition. And so under his instructions and the direction of my minister, Honorable Kaysil Atoforsen, would have loved to be here, but couldn't make it due to circumstances beyond his control, we visited Gold Coast Refinery on the 9th of April 2025. And when we went to Gold Coast Refinery, we were shocked at what we discovered. We found out that Ghana has the largest gold refinery in the sub-region. That is Gold Coast Refinery. Sadly, this refinery was being underutilized and was operating far below its operational capacity. The state of affairs that I witnessed firsthand was very troubling. And so we reported back to the president and the board of the GoldBod, and we commenced discussions with the refinery about how we can get the refinery to work. Because it didn't make sense to us as government that we will have such a critical asset in our country, and yet 99.9% of all the gold we export out of our country, whether it is small-scale gold or large-scale gold, is exported in its raw form. And so we commenced discussions with the refinery, and my governing board, led by my abled board chair, Mr. Kwadwo, has supported me every step of the way. I thought you would clap to that. Yeah. So we started off by commencing some technical consultancy to assess the operational readiness and capacity of the refinery. And that led to certain recommendations being made to the refinery to improve the operational capacity and enhance their capacity to be able to deliver quality services to the government of Ghana. The refinery, I can confirm, is implementing all the recommendations we made. We then commenced the drafting of an agreement between us and Gold Coast Refinery, which agreement has gone through rigorous scrutiny by the governing board of the GoldBod and our sector minister. Now, this agreement, which we'll be signing a few moments from now, is going to ensure that up to 1 metric ton of gold, in other words, up to 1,000 kilograms of gold that is exported by the Ghana GoldBod, will be refined here in Ghana at Gold Coast Refinery every single week. And we hope to ramp this up through a gradual phased approach and ensure that we are able to achieve total local refining of all the gold we export out of the country. Let me say that Gold Coast Refinery has been very cooperative. They have not relented despite the challenges. There's a refinery that was commissioned in November of 2016 that has gone through several challenges since then. But I think that with where we have gotten to now, it's important to commend them for their persistence and their determination. They have not given up on their Ghana project. And what is even more exciting about this occasion, and the agreement we are about to sign is the coming on board, or let me say the bringing on board of Rand Refinery by Gold Coast Refinery. As I've already indicated, Rand Refinery is the only LBMA accredited refinery in the whole of Africa. And it is our hope that by coming on board, they will bring their expertise, their experience to bear to enhance the technical capacity and management capacity of Gold Coast Refinery and help us not only refine our gold locally, but also to achieve an LBMA accredited refinery here in Ghana. The coming on board of Rand Refinery signals one thing, and that is we are not only interested as a government to refine our gold locally here in Ghana, but we are interested to refine that gold in a sustainable manner that promotes traceability and that ensures that every gold that we feed to Gold Coast Refinery for refining is responsibly mined and responsibly sourced in line with the OECD and LBMA guidelines. The Ghana GoldBod is very committed to this. And our soon-to-be-launched track and trace system will make the verification of this very, very easy. Now, as I've already indicated, what this agreement means is that up to 1 ton of gold that is exported by GoldBod every week will not be exported in its raw form, but will be refined to minimum purity of 99.5%. And in fact, it is refreshing to know that Gold Coast Refinery has the capacity to even deliver 3 nines and 4 nines and 5 nines. So they can give us 9999 and the best standard, of gold purity for exports. Another exciting thing about this agreement is that every bar of gold that will be refined by Gold Coast Refinery and exported will bear a hallmark that will have Gold Coast Refinery, Ghana GoldBod, the Ghana Standards Authority, and the Bank of Ghana's emblems. That is also very, very refreshing. But even more exciting is the fact that we are not some strangers who are going to be refining our gold at Gold Coast Refinery, but we are part and parcel of that refinery. In fact, that refinery is also ours. What do I mean by that? The CEO and chairman, and I must say the board of the Gold Coast Refinery has been gracious enough to give the Republic of Ghana a free carried interest of 15% in Gold Coast Refinery. And the Ghana GoldBod is proud to hold that free carried interest of 15% for and on behalf of the Republic of Ghana. And this is a certificate that has been issued to us as evidence of this 15% free carried interest. Now, it is our hope, we as government, we are leading by example. And so this 1 metric ton of gold we are hoping to refine every week effective 1st of February 2026 It's gold that we buy, we own, and we control. But we don't want to stop there. We want to work with the man in the hats, the CEO of the Chamber of Mines. And for those of you who don't know, the Chamber of Mines is the official body that represents large-scale mining firms in this country. We want to work with them to ensure that we don't stop at the local refining of ASM gold, but we also rope in large-scale gold. So, sir, we'll be hearing from you shortly, and I know that you're already on the same page with us. The excuses from our big brothers in the large-scale sector must stop. We must start from somewhere. They cannot continue to refine their gold in refineries in Europe, while refineries in Ghana continue to suffer. We need to do this. And the reason why it's important for us to do this, the benefits of this agreement we are signing today are numerous. For the general benefits and the low-hanging fruits, you know already what this agreement means is that the millions of dollars we pay as refining charges to refineries in Dubai, in India, Switzerland, Hong Kong, and other foreign countries will now stay in our banking sector. That money will now stay in our economy. We will not be paying that to refineries. What this agreement also means is that we are creating more direct and indirect jobs, particularly because Gold Coast Refinery has committed to operating 24/7 in line with government's 24-hour economy policy. Again, this agreement means higher tax revenue for the people of Ghana and potential revenue in the form of dividends due to our 15% free carried interest. But more importantly, there are certain key benefits that are worth sharing. One of the challenges that has plagued our nation is the issue of purity losses and the undervaluation of gold exports from Ghana. A lot of people don't know that all the gold we export from Ghana, as a country, we do not yet have the capacity to determine its true value. Because what the GoldBod as the national assay does to determine the purity of the gold is simply SRF assay. An SRF assay cannot accurately determine the value of gold. And that is what we do to the small-scale gold we export and the large-scale gold we export. And how do we know the value? We have to wait for the off-takers buying the small-scale gold and the large-scale mining companies exporting the large-scale gold to go to refineries outside our country, refine the gold, determine the purity, and now come and tell us as a sovereign currency, a country, that your gold purity is X or Y, and that this is the value. We don't have the means of determining that. Now, this agreement is going to put a stop to that, because at Gold Coast Refinery, we'll be doing fire assay, the golden standard of assay before and after refining, and we can determine the accurate purity and, for that matter, value of our gold. We wouldn't have to rely on refineries outside our country to determine that. Again, when you export gold in its raw form and you do your SRF assay, the purity sometimes for Ghana gold, 92%, 91%, 93%. When the gold eventually gets to the destination country and fire assay is done, most often than not, the purity figure is always lower than what we record here. So that leads to huge losses. And when you look at the volumes of gold we're exporting, that is millions of Ghana cedis that we lose as a result of that. That issue of historical purity losses will also be a thing of the past. Now, we will also be able to accurately determine the silver content of the gold we export, and we can possibly retain that silver here. We can choose to sell the silver or retain it here for purposes of fabrication. So all the jewelers in Ghana and those involved in the fabrication industry can now have access to adequate silver and refined gold to make quality jewelry and other forms of gold and silver ornaments. And finally, this agreement we are signing has made formalization of ASM and traceability an urgent imperative, because without that, I'm sure we cannot count on the continued support of Rand Refinery. They cannot be involved in anything that does not promote traceability and sustainability. So these and many more are the benefits of the agreements we are signing today. So, Mr. Chair, Your Excellency, CEOs, esteemed members of the board, we want to reaffirm our commitment to this agreement. This agreement will not be ideas on paper, just ideas on paper, but we are committed to translating these ideas into action. And we can assure you that effective 1st February, you'll be getting a minimum of a ton of gold every week. And subject to your capacity, we're going to even increase that. So I want to conclude by thanking His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, the nation builder, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, under whose vision this is being done, and the Sector Minister, our governing board, who have supported us every step of the way for us to achieve this landmark, feat. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.